so that later, later, like, what happened? What happened next? I think he went back to the house, and when when Ali Sheedy had to go back to work, and the dog. Oh, and there's another thing. But before the kid, the scene with the cat, like earlier, where the kid was the newspaper boy, actually threw a newspaper and hit Max in the head, and then then Max went out, got ahead of him, and surprised him, and starts attacking him. Well, he didn't attack the kid. He just popped the tires up from his bike, saying I'm sorry. Um, or even even after that after the scene with the cat, where he doesn't like Lori's boyfriend, so he goes and off screen he disables the guy's car's brake line, so he can't stop his car, so he put the emergency brake on before he go in an accident, and he knows that his girlfriend's dog is trying to kill him, Or then another scene where he goes back to the kid's house with the collie, and where the kid and his dad drive off, and it's the dog in the house. He sneaks into the house, and there's another part where there's supposed to another comedy aspect. It's supposed to be a part of the comedy, where there's a song that I did not like, just didn't play right, So I think it was called they call it puppy love, and where the dog is like making out with the dog, and with that song, I think that just could have been left out, that song. It just didn't fit right to me, But then after that, as he's walking back, then he gets that scene, that scene with the mailman, Oh, should have. I forgot. I went over the limit, but so I'm gonna take some of this part here and add my part 2 of this video. So when we get into the part 2, you notice I'll still be continuing from before. So I was too busy talking. I didn't pay much attention. So stay tuned for part 2 of this review, and the part 2 will start off with some of the stuff I've said before. So I had to edit some of it. So stay tuned for part 2 of this review. So, see you soon. Well, shortly. Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and before I know, this is still part 2. This is part 2 of my review of Man's Best Friend, though. But before the start of this segment, I had to add 2 minutes of my previous video at the beginning, so I had to edit it because I was too busy talking my part 1. I went over my 50-minute limit, so I added to the start of this video. So you'll see. I'll say stay tuned for part 2, and then it'll cut into this segment. So this will still be part 2 of it. So I apologize for cutting it because I was too much I wasn't paying much attention to the time, and I went over. So I added the last 2 minutes of my my first video to put into this part. So you'll see that. So this is after that. I'm starting right now. So everyone, once again, welcome to still part 2 of this review. This is still part 2 because of the first segment. So now, where was I? Oh, yes, I was getting to the scene. I was getting to the scene with the mailman. He's delivering the mail. He gets his mace out and sprays Max with a mace, but it doesn't affect him whatsoever. He starts chasing the mailman, and bites him in the leg, and then he gets him over the fence and starts biting him in the neck. But then it doesn't show gory or anything. He just sees him bite him in the neck, and then it cuts away, But then it shows him burying the mailman under the house, And then Lori's boyfriend tries to get rid of Max by putting rat poisoning into some grounded meat, So he gives Matt the meat, and Max showing how really smart he is. He sniffs it, and he knows that he's messed the meat up with something, and gets really angry, grr at him, and then he runs away and drives away, and then he puts the meat in the toilet and flushes it down, Um, and then so when the next the cops, they start investigating what deeper into the stuff of Emacs, with Dr. Jarrett, and they found out how Lance Henriksen, he took all the stuff private and starts secretly genetic engineering these animals. So they get a warrant and start getting all the animals out of there, and well, what was next then? Well, then the boyfriend makes Lori get rid of Max, leave him with this guy in this junkyard, to leave him with it. Said he'll be taken to a ranch, But as soon as she leaves, the guy was just lying and starts he hits Max over a shovel and knocks him out so he can chain him up. But then later when he wakes up, he starts taunting him. He starts taunting Max, and he breaks free of the chain, and starts attacking him. Then he gives him the blowtorch right in his face. Burns him a little bit. But then and also he tries to get his gun, but he can't. And then all of a sudden he starts grabbing him right in the real. Max bites him right in the balls. And he sees some blood spurt in his face, but he kills him. But then it cuts away again, though. I wish we could fully kill him, though. But you get the aspect, it's like this dog does not take bullshit to people because the drug is wearing off. He's becoming more aggressive, So, but then he goes back to Lori's house, and then the boyfriend gives her a new puppy, because since he felt bad about it. And then he goes upstairs, and Max is there. He's really angry at him. He attacks him. And then it pisses on his face, and really his piss is really like acid. Because earlier he pissed on a fire hydrant and starts burning the fire hydrant away with like acid. So he did it on his face and starts burning. And they hear him, and the kids start attacking with a baseball bat. Oh, and before there's another thing I didn't mention that as soon as after the boyfriend did it with the rat poison, he ran away. The dog eats the parrot, starts calling him names, like Buttface, and knocks the cage over, but you don't see him eat. But you don't see him eat the parrot. You see a bunch of feathers flying around, but he eats it because you hear the effects of him eating it. So he starts attacking them, and then the cops show up, starts shooting at him. He's running away, and then the dog catchers they know about it, and they're chasing the cops are chasing him. Like he jumps so high, over a car that tries to block the way, and then the dog catchers they chase it. They follow him to a garage. Closes the door on them, and also another one of his genetically engineered traits, for he can camouflage himself like a chameleon, He makes him invisible to the others, and he scares them. They run away, and then the cops are at Lori's house, trying to find them, And then Robert Costanzo, he hears something goes underneath the house and finds the dead mailman, but then he gets attacked by Max and Ali Sheedy. She goes to the other cop and opens the door, and he's dead. He got his throat torn off, and then Lance Henriksen shows up and kidnaps her and starts driving away back to Emacs, and Max is catches up to them, jumps onto the roof of the car, and then when they arrive at Emacs, but then they lose control of the car and it flips over into the building. That was a good car stunt. How it flips over and goes right into the building. But they're not dead though; they're still alive. Ali Sheedy runs into the building, into the lab area. Tries to block the door. Max is already in there. She grabs a knife though, and she's staring back at him, but she slowly puts the knife down. Shows that she does not want to hurt Max. And Max he's um how he calms down after what she does to know that she still loves Max. About she doesn't can't blame she can't you cannot blame you can't blame Max because it was not his choice. He was genetically made that way. But she manages to calm him down by showing that by putting the knife down. But then they're interrupted by Lance Henriksen with a shotgun. And he pushes Lance Henriksen, but at the same time he shoots Max, But then he lands on top of a large cage, and the puppy, which I think that was not realistic, how the puppy just goes and plugs it in, But it's a film, I ain't complaining. But then the puppy plugs it in, and Lance Henriksen, he gets electrocuted, whoa, and he dies. And Lori, she, looks over at Max, that he's dead, and feels real bad, feels real sad, Even I've kind of felt sad for Max because he was made that way though, but it wasn't his fault, But that's how it goes. So yeah, she feels so bad, for Max, and then it cuts to 3 months later where the kid with his collie had given birth to puppies. There was a litter of collies, but then there's one puppy that looks like a puppy Rottweiler that looks like Max. You can hear it like start growling. Like I think it was like some of the genetically engineered genes that was from Max, and I think this puppy inherits some of that from Max. You can start hearing it's like sitting like away from the other puppies, and it starts growling. And then of course you hear that song they call Puppy Love again, which for me they could have left out. So yeah, overall, despite all the some of the comic stuff that was in it, though, which I thought they could have left out, though, but overall, I still like the film. Some of the horror, wish they could have kept more of the horror elements, like leave out the comic stuff and put more horror stuff into it, though. But I still enjoy the film. How the dog, how it swallowed that cat, which was like that was kind of disturbing. Seeing how the cat is being swallowed in the dog's mouth, Or, just how, which I think was, like, probably the only real scary, disturbing thing that was in the film, how he attacks the mailman, bites him in the leg, but then as soon as he bites him on the neck, cuts away. Or how he eats the bird off screen, but you can hear it eating it, though. Or how it attacks Robert Costanzo, just, as soon as it bites on the neck, it cuts away, Wish we could see. Wish we could really see fully, really bite him in the neck though, instead of cutting away.